What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to another Resplendent review. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Gaius and I'll be going over the best builds that you can run on him. And at the end I'll also have a special bonus segment. So Gaius is a Gen 1 colorless dagger infantry unit with Candy Dagger as his preferred weapon. This weapon refine did happen in 2020 and unfortunately it is not the most stacked weapon refine but still can help Gaius with his damage output. So this weapon refine can give him +4 speed in the player phase and also true damage that scales off based on his speed. Now unfortunately the scaling is not really too high, it's only 10%, which means that for every 10 points of speed he gets 1 true damage, and a lot of times this is going to be ending up to be 6-7 true damage at max investment. And then his weapon refine doubles down on the true damage aspect, and if the foe's HP at start of combat is full, then he can get 7 true damage per hit. And if he's going to be using any kind of AoE specials, then as long as the opponent's health is at full, he's going to be dealing 7 true damage on his AoE hit. Keep in mind that the 7 true damage is going to be added to the out of combat AoE damage and not on the actual damage that he does in combat. This does help him quite a bit, but still it is not going to be enough in the modern times to make up for the damage output, especially because of his low attack stat, which even after the Resplendent stats is going to be at base 31. When we talk about infantry daggers, there are of course monsters like Yuri, but even in the free-to-play pool there's plenty of competition for Gaius. Legault and Kaze both have pretty similar stat line to Gaius. All of these units are fast and they don't have the highest attack, but Kaze and Legault did get a modern weapon refine recently. Legault can get damage reduction from his weapon and also has the cleaner effect, which can punish the opponents who rely on a lot of buffs. Kaze on the other hand does have -1 special cooldown and also has Flashing Blade 4 in his weapon refine, so he can actually be a pretty good user of lethality for a free-to-play dagger unit. So these two units do end up being a lot more unique, not to mention he's going to be getting even more competition once Chad, Kronia and Gangrel get their weapon refines in the future. But still, if you're a big fan of Gaius, then here are some of the builds that he can run. I really wouldn't recommend you to run a budget Gaius, and he really needs the premium skills, the dragon flowers and the merges to do his job in the modern times. So he can run an AoE build with Life and Death 4 and Special Spiral, and this is a PvE build which you could use in many game modes. Keep in mind that he's going to be getting the 7 true damage on the AoE hit because of his weapon refine, and he can just stack up his attack with Life and Death 4 so that he can do even more AoE damage and basically loop his specials by using Special Spiral. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a -1 special cooldown weapon, so you have to run some kind of special acceleration like Flashing Blade so that he can loop his specials. You can also run him with Flashing Blade 4 in his slot A, and it's definitely going to be one of the better skills that you can run on him, even though there's an opportunity cost of not running a skill that can give him more attack or speed. Flashing Blade 4 though does give him the true damage, and this can stack up with the Candy Dagger, and at this kind of max investment he's able to get 18 true damage per hit with Flashing Blade 4. You can run this with Desperation or even Null Follow-Up or even the Tempo skill which we have, but Desperation can work out fine with Time Pulse and Luna, making it a 2 cooldown special, which you can trigger by using Flashing Blade in the Desperation range. And if you want to spoil him with a really recent skill, then Speed Smoke 4 could be an option, so basically you can try and be Legault in a sense by getting the damage reduction, and he does have true damage from his weapon. Unfortunately there is no cleaner effect which is present here, so his damage output is going to be suffering. But yeah, you can basically run double solo skills with Null Follow-Up and have Speed Smoke 4 so that you can have damage reduction and just function a bit better in the mix phase or after you get Dance in your player phase. Unfortunately, the primary condition of Candy Dagger is only functional in the player phase, so that is going to be sucking a ton as you're going to be missing out on some true damage and also the extra speed. But in the end, if you don't want to give him Speed Smoke 4, then the slot C of this build is flexible and you can run some other skill as well. Just don't run something like Savage Blow because it will have anti-synergy with the refine effect of Candy Dagger, which wants the opponent at full HP. You can also run him with a lethality build at max investment, and like I said before, Flashing Blade 4 can stack up the true damage with his weapon refine, so lethality is going to be a 3 cooldown special, which you can trigger in a single round of combat if the opponent can counterattack. And if you want to experiment with some other weapons on him, or if you don't really like Candy Dagger that much, then you can run Quarterly Fan build, which is a pretty standard build for any kind of dagger unit, by running Wind Sweep with it and abusing the partial Null Follow-Up built into it. So with this build you can easily run attack speed ideal 4 and maintain its HP condition, and also run Time Pulse and Moonbow so that you can trigger that on your second attack. And finally, you can run him in Arena with Sea-Dual Infantry 4 if you really want to. So now follow-up is going to be a huge help in Arena where units have follow-up negation skills and also auto follow-ups. An attack speed menace can help you just go in offensively, and the attack debuff can also help him defensively by helping him survive the counterattacks of the enemies, because Gaius doesn't really get any kind of extra bulk out of Candied Daggers, so the attack debuff can at times really help. Lethality could also be run, but unfortunately he's not going to be getting any kind of special acceleration from this build, so it is going to be a bit hard to trigger compared to a 2 cooldown Ruptured Sky. This is my re-refined theorycraft for Gaius because he definitely deserves it. He's one of the more popular Awakening characters, and unfortunately his weapon refine doesn't really do him justice. So if I had to give him a re-refine, then this is what I'll do. First of all, I've given him -1 special cooldown so that he can use 2 cooldown specials with Time Pulse and pre-charge them, and it does make him a bit better user of lethality. This now has a more lenient condition, which is also going to be triggering in the enemy phase, and this provides him with +5 attack and speed in the combat, and now his true damage is going to be 20% of his speed. The true damage is basically doubled, so if he was previously getting 6 true damage, now with the 20% scaling he can get 12 true damage, which is definitely pretty nice for increasing his damage output. And then for his weapon refine, I've tried to make it a bit more unique so that he doesn't really trample the niche of Kaze or Legault, and is still going to be unique in his own right as a infantry colorless dagger in the free-to-play pool. So the refined part can give him the dive bomb effect, which we have seen before on units like Wolf and also Luwin. So this dive bomb effect pretty much makes him into a better player phase unit, as he will not really need desperation and he can easily run a tempo skill or null follow up in his slot B. And because he doesn't really get any kind of extra bulk out of his weapon, this dive bomb effect can really help him in the player phase, and also because of his true damage, he can do more damage consecutively. And then we have the 7 true damage, which he could also get before from his weapon refine, but now the condition is a lot more lenient and the enemy does not need to be at full HP. His base attack is not the highest by the modern standards, so this weapon refine tries to fix his damage output by giving him even more true damage and making him a specialist in that regard, and also giving him the dive bomb effect, which can give him a better player phase, which is going to be really amazing for utilizing his high speed productively. So let me know what you think about my theorycraft in the comment section down below, and make sure to share this video with your friends who are big Gaius fans. I definitely went over a lot of options here, and if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member down below. And for more Resplendent reviews, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as is refine if the foe is not at full health. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.